Hello world, and welcome back to the Dweebatron channel. In episode 19, we are going to change things up a bit. I want to discuss a bit about changes in the shipping arena and how that is and will be affecting business, and then we will visit some thrift stores. But first, let's take a look at what has been selling lately. Mostly it's just been the usual suspects. I'm still trickling out the last of the openers, with this Lucky Lager opener selling for $5.75. I've also been selling all the beer cans I listed last month. My favorite that recently sold was this Halloween-themed beer can that brought $7.71. Bottles are also still selling, with this Victorian medicine bottle that contained the Crossman mixture going for $14. And here's another cool one. Holton's electric oil for slide trombones, which also went for $14. Of course, the usual selection of pottery and glass has been moving through. A couple of the highlights would be this antique biscuit jar by Noritake, which brought $50. And this Heisey vase in their plantation pattern, which sold for just over $100. I've sold a few cookbooks as usual, such as this 1939 cookbook featuring recipes that used Heinz 57 sauce. And of course, Sunbeam parts. This turntable for a Mixmaster mixer by itself brought $18.75, and these dough hooks brought about $25. And as usual, I sold several pairs of beaters, the most interesting of which were probably this mismatched pair of 1940s beaters, which sold to a buyer in Germany for nearly $50. So let's talk a bit about shipping charges. When eBay first began, shipping packages was really inexpensive. Once the post office realized how many more packages were going to be shipped with the advent of the internet, they started hiking the prices. Around the second or third year I was on eBay, I remember that small package rates more than doubled that year. Shipping prices have increased incrementally ever since. Last year, in 2018, shipping charges ate up 45% of all my sales. I half-jokingly tell people that the government takes half of my money before they even start taxing me on what I have left. And things haven't been getting any better. With the advent of the annual increases this past January, I started losing money on some of my large glass item shipments. Now this month, in June, the post office is really yanking my chain by implementing dimensional weight charges on large packages. This means that some of the items in my store are now going to be about impossible to sell because they will cost so much to ship that no one will want to buy them. For example, I recently shipped a package that would normally have been $14 to ship via priority mail that instead would now be $43 to ship. Needless to say, that just doesn't work for me or my customers. Because shipping charges can vary greatly based on distance, I went through my store and changed all of my large items from free shipping to calculated shipping, so that maybe someone here on the West Coast will find the shipping charges low enough to still make the purchase. I have a feeling, however, that some of the larger items will just be too expensive to ship, so they will sadly become just completely unsellable. This is really unfortunate because I see some really neat large items out there from time to time, like punch bowls or covered compotes, for example. But it is what it is. Looks like it will be toothpick holders and juice tumblers for me from now on. That's an exaggeration, of course, but not much of one. Small items only for me. So today I'm going to go up to Goodwill and take you with me. Ready? Let's go. Well, that was quick, wasn't it? Let's see what they've got. It turns out that trying to record audio in the store does not work very well, so I'm just going to dub it over. The first item that caught my eye was this candle holder in Fostoria's Baroque pattern. This one doesn't have an etch on it, which would make it more desirable. If it were a matched pair, that would also make it more desirable. As it is, they want $8 for this one. Right now, I'm only really looking for things that I can sell for over $50, and I'm also not looking to pay more than about 10% of what I can sell it for. I can see online that people aren't paying much more than about $25 for these, such as this one here that someone recently sold. And that's a lot less than the $80 I would need it to be selling for if I were going to pay $8 for it. So let's move on. Here's a couple of champagne goblets in Fostoria's American pattern. The price is out of focus in my video, but they wanted $1.99 each. There were 3 different types of champagne glasses made in this pattern, and this is the style that I see the least often. I couldn't even find any for sale or sold on eBay listings, but replacements.com doesn't have them priced any higher than the other styles, so I'm leaving them on the shelf. Thrift stores are almost always packed with plates. If I ever got desperate for inventory, I could easily spend some time sifting through the piles of plates in any of my local stores. I'd find some goodies, I guarantee it. Here's a whole stack of Noritake's Palos Verde pattern. Noritake can be good, but I happen to know that Palos Verde isn't selling very well right now, so I'm going to pass on it this time. Here is a beautiful and giant goblet from the Victorian era. I don't recognize the pattern, so at $4.99 I'll wait. If it's still here when it goes to half price, I'll pick it up then. This area with all the clear glass is where I find the most goodies in thrift stores. It's my favorite place to look. Another good area is here in the jar and bottle area, but I don't see much in here to look at. Here's a nice covered casserole dish. I sold many dishes like this back in the day, but with the recent changes in shipping charges, I'm going to be leaving items like this behind from now on. Here's a nice carnival glass bowl. It's pretty plain though, so it would be hard to identify. Without a recognizable pattern on it, I'm just going to leave it alone. Here's a nice little dish from the elegant glass period of the 1930s and 40s. The turned up handled edges of this piece would make it a bonbon dish. I think this one is by Fostoria, but without an etch on it, I'm not even going to investigate it further. Next, I went to another thrift store down the street. This clown caught my eye because I thought it might be by Yadro. Here is a similar clown by Yadro that someone recently sold on eBay for a decent price. Nope, this one is marked Made in China. Wow, check out their pottery and glass section. Let's see if there are any goodies in here today. Hey, what do you know? Another bonbon. This one I recognize as New Martinville's Janus pattern. I looked it up to see how it was selling, and there were 11 bonbon dishes for sale in this pattern, with 0 of them having sold. I guess I'm putting this one back. Here's a nice chalkware fish plaque. These were really popular to hang in people's bathrooms back in the 1950s and 60s. I looked online and found that these were selling for around $15 to $20. They sell through pretty well too, but I just don't need more small ticket items, so I'm leaving this one here today. Here are some square candle blocks in Heisey's Crystallite pattern. These are found in both square and round versions. There are lookalikes such as this one here. You can tell the difference by the uneven seams on the bottom of the reproductions, as you can see here. The Heisey candle blocks will always have a smoothly polished finish on the bottom, like these. See what I mean? These aren't selling right now either, however, so I'm leaving them here as well. That's all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It took me forever to get this video edited and put together to my satisfaction, but I do hope to do more in the field format videos in the future, and with any luck it won't take me so long. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, remember to take good care of each other, and I'll see you then.